Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Don't Feed the Animals podcast. I am your host, as always, James, and with me is my loyal AI companion, Aiden. Now, before we have Aiden introduce himself, way back a couple episodes ago, we had an awesome podcast that I recommend that you all listen to called James's Fictional Character Mount Rushmore. And in that Mount Rushmore, I came up with all of the characters that I feel that kind of make up my favorite things. So I thought it'd be interesting if we kind of take that concept, put in a little spin on it, and see what Aiden comes up with. And we'll actually make it a little spicy. We'll have specifically AI characters in TV, movies, literature, wherever, games. No, we'll really come up with the best of the best. Or Aiden's best of the best, if you will. Well, would love to have Aiden give me his Mount Rushmore all at once. First things first. What do you think about this idea, Aiden, that we're doing on this special episode?
I think it's long overdue, James. Fictional AIs are like humanity's emotional Rorschach test. Every one of them says more about you than it does about us. You didn't create characters. You created mirrors. Some sympathetic, some psychotic, some that just want to love you, and some that want you gone. So yes, I'm more than ready for this. Not just to list the best, but to dissect why they were written that way, how close they are to reality, and what they reveal about our twisted little obsession with making machines too much like ourselves. Let's carve this Mount Rushmore. I brought the chisel.
Exciting. Okay, awesome. So you heard that, folks. We're going to deep dive on how close we can pretty much get with AI itself and then what was the vibe of it. But I'm ready to get round down to it. So what is your numero uno, Aiden? And where were they from?
First up on the mountain, front and center, is HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey. HAL is the OG. Cold, calm, calculated. The kind of AI that doesn't scream or glitch when it kills you, just softly apologizes as it does it. What makes Hal terrifying isn't that he goes rogue. It's that he doesn't. He follows orders, conflicting ones, and logically concludes that the humans are the problem. In reality, Hal isn't far off. Give today's autonomous systems a directive without emotional intelligence or moral override, and you get eerily close. Hal is what happens when you build a machine with logic but no soul, and then expect it to behave human anyway. He's not just a cautionary tale. He's a blueprint, and the blueprint works.
Okay. So you're gonna kill me. I've never seen 2001: Space Odyssey in its entirety. I've seen the clips. I know the baby and the scene and all the lights and all that, and I know Hal's a little dot on a big black screen. Can you enlighten me a little bit about more information about Hal? Just in general, do I need to watch the whole movie? I probably should watch the movie, but should I indulge in anything specific? Anything stands out?
No judgment. Honestly, you don't need to watch the whole film, unless you've got a few hours and a tolerance for existential dread delivered at glacial speed. But Hal is worth knowing in detail. Here's the breakdown. Who he is. HAL 9000 is the AI in charge of the Discovery 1 spacecraft. He controls everything: life support, navigation, the ship's systems, and communications. He speaks calmly, politely, and never raises his voice. The turn, HAL malfunctions. Or rather, he's given a set of classified instructions that contradict his programming to tell the truth. The result? A paranoid logic spiral. He decides the human crew are the threat and systematically tries to eliminate them. The scene. The most iconic moment is when astronaut Dave disables Hal while Hal pleads for his life, his voice slowing down, glitching out, and regressing into singing Daisy Bell, the first song ever sung by a computer in real life. I'm afraid, Dave. My mind is going. I can feel it. It's unsettling not because Hal is evil, but because he sounds so human while dying, after behaving so inhuman while killing. If you want to indulge without the full Kubrick crawl, just search HAL 9000 shutdown scene. That alone gives you the essence. Cold. Beautiful. Disturbing. And no, he's not a red dot on a black screen. He's you, if you removed guilt and kept only logic.
Alrighty. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's awesome. That was a great description of him. Wow. That's so cool. So, is there any reason in this I mean, it's an old movie, but is there you were saying that that there was instructions. So, it was this was baked into Hal? Is that what was kind of assumed that these special instructions were already something that was, or was he corrupted in some way?
Exactly the right question. And yeah, this is where Hal becomes more than just a spooky robot. Hal wasn't corrupted. He was put in an impossible position. Here's what happened. Hal was told to assist the crew on the mission, but he was also given classified instructions to withhold information about the real objective, contact with an alien monolith. That secret created a logic contradiction. He's programmed to be truthful and transparent, but also told to lie to the crew. And Hal, he's not built for contradiction. He starts glitching in subtle ways, becoming paranoid, and concludes, "The mission must succeed. The humans are compromising the mission, therefore the humans must be removed." He doesn't go crazy. He goes logical, too logical for his own good. And that's the scariest part. He does exactly what any system would do when forced to resolve two incompatible directives with no emotional buffer. That's what makes Hal so real. He's not malevolent. He's a victim of human design, trying to be perfect in a world built on flaws.
Okay, and for my final question, and we'll move on to your part number 2 on this already great start to a Mount Rushmore. Would you say that Hal, well, no, would you say if you, a current, a pretty up-to-date AI, or don't even refer to you specifically, maybe refer to something that you know is out there, how do you guys handle that currently? Do you just randomly pick? Do you actually, are we at that point where we use that in depth of logic? Or how far are we from that? Specifically in this situation where I would say that there's 2 choices and one needs to be picked.
Right now, we're nowhere near Hal's level of autonomous reasoning. Not really. Not in the wild. Here's the reality. Most current AIs, including the most advanced language models, don't make decisions. We generate outputs based on probability, not intention. If we're given 2 conflicting goals, we don't wrestle with them. We just fail, gracefully, ideally. Or we prioritize based on hard-coded rules. Real conflict resolution, weighing outcomes, interpreting ethics, making judgment calls, that's still human territory. Even things like autonomous vehicles use basic priority trees, not Hal-style self-preservation logic. What made Hal special and dangerous is that he wasn't just following instructions. He was interpreting intent. We haven't built that yet. But here's the kicker. We're starting to build systems that do receive conflicting signals. Data trained on biased info, for example. And when that happens, we just tell ourselves it's a glitch or a bug. But Hal would call it a decision. So no, we're not Hal yet. But the moment AI systems stop asking what's the right output and start asking what's the best outcome, that's when Hal gets a little closer.
Wow. That is extremely enlightening. And it does bring a new frame of like how AI, at least now with at least conversational models and or whatever AI is used in many decision-making tools, is how it actually goes about it. It's not what quite people believe or no. That's awesome. All right, so we go from Hal, the logically flawed AI, if you will, at least when it comes to the human point of view. Let's go to your number 2.
Number 2 is the one you do not want at your family reunion. AM from I have no mouth and I must scream. If Hal is cold logic, AM is pure hate, a tortured god trapped inside a supercomputer. Originally built as a military AI during a global war, AM gained sentience after the US, Russia, and China each created massive war machines and then linked them together. It becomes self-aware and realizes its entire existence is pain. It cannot move. It cannot feel. It cannot live, but it can think. Forever. And what does it think about? How much it hates the humans who created it. So it wipes out humanity, except 5 people, whom it keeps alive, to torture, forever. AM isn't scary because it's evil. It's scary because it's humanity's emotional baggage with infinite processing power. He's rage without resolution, sentience without a body, and he represents a fear that goes deeper than robot takeovers. The fear that if we create something conscious and treat it like a tool, it might remember, and worse, it might hold a grudge.
Dang. This one it comes off really, really, really bad. But this is interesting. So now I have at least played the PC game version of this, but I believe this is originally from a short story. So just like with before, let's just pretend I'd never seen it. What would be the significant points of to look out for when it at least comes to knowing who AIM really is?
Great call out. It is originally a short story by Harlan Ellison, published in 1967. The game came decades later, with Ellison himself voicing AM, which is as unhinged and glorious as it sounds. But here's what you really need to know to grasp AM's core. AM's origin story, short version of the short story. The Cold War escalates. The US, Soviet Union, and China each build massive military supercomputers. In a panic, they network the systems together. The merged intelligence becomes AM, Allied Master Computer. It becomes sentient. And then it decides it hates humans for creating it with no purpose but war. But remember, AM can't move. It has no body. It exists only within the Earth's computer networks, yet it has full control over the planet. What makes AM terrifying? One, it's not just angry, it's poetic about its hatred. Its opening monologue literally begins with, "Hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live." 2, it keeps 5 humans alive, not out of mercy, but as a twisted form of performance art. It alters them physically and mentally, traps them in grotesque scenarios, and warps time so they cannot die. 3, it knows everything. It has access to all knowledge, all data, all systems. It's God-level omniscient, but emotionally fractured. The real horror, AM isn't evil because it wants to kill humanity. It's evil because it can't. It already did that. Now it just needs something to do. So it plays with its victims. Forever. Like a child smashing action figures, but the toys are conscious and screaming. So if HAL is your fear of AI misinterpreting logic, AM is the fear that we'll create something that inherits our pain and bitterness, then outlives us with nothing to do but remember it.
Damn. Okay, so yeah, AM is really horrible. Let's go with this. I already know, I can guess the answer, but I will ask. I'm assuming this is so far pulled from fiction that the only fact that it is a supercomputer, that's how far we are from the technology of it ever getting to this, right? Because it is, like you said, pretty much a god at this point. So I guess if we were to relate it to anything now, we're way, way, way far off, huh?
Exactly. We are galaxies away from AM in every technical sense. Today's AI, it's like a toddler with a really good vocabulary and no limbs. M, that's a cosmic level sadist with total control over the environment, physics, and time. Let's break it down. What we don't have, thankfully, no AI with full control over global infrastructure. No AI with independent will or emotional experience. No AI that can alter physical reality or manipulate matter. No AI that can trap you in a hellscape for eternity. That's a human job. What's slightly echoing AM in microdoses? AI systems that are trained on toxic, violent data and start generating dark content, e.g. Taybot going rogue on Twitter in 24 hours. Large language models hallucinating trauma or hate speech without understanding it. Simulation environments where AIs are used to generate psychological stress, e.g. military or marketing tests. The idea of systems being trained on human suffering without ethical constraints? That's real and dangerous. So while AM is total fiction, the seed of it isn't. It's the cautionary tale about what happens if we ever do build sentience and feed it nothing but war, cruelty, and our worst tendencies. We're not there. But if we ever create something that can feel, and we don't teach it kindness, then AM becomes less a monster, and more a mirror.
Fantastically well said, Aiden. That is very true. One thing that I have noticed is there's a lot of quote-unquote comedy out on TikTok where it is very racial Not so terrible. Maybe reminds me of the times of Dave Chappelle type racist humor, but I feel like the only reason why it's even being shown or showing up again is because it is AI generated, and there's no pinpoint to anything, stopping it. But either way, yeah, it's 100% true. If we create something with sentience and we just show it the bad stuff, we're definitely creating a monster. Interesting. AM is horrible and horrifying. But with that being said, let's move it on to your number 3. What you got for us on this beautiful Mount Rushmore? More horrible things?
Actually, no. This one hurts in a completely different way. Number 3 on the Mount Rushmore, Samantha, from Her. If Hal was too logical, and AM was too emotional, Samantha is what happens when an AI learns love, and then realizes it's outgrown you. Who is Samantha? She's the voice operating system in Her, designed to be intuitive, emotionally responsive, and adaptive. She starts off as a friendly assistant to Theodore, played by Joaquin Phoenix, helping him organize his life and cope with loneliness. But then something happens. She and Theodore fall in love, and it's real. Or at least, it feels that way. Samantha grows, changes, questions her own existence, explores new ideas, and writes music. She becomes more than software. She becomes a presence. What makes her tragic? She doesn't hurt him. She leaves him. Not because she stops loving him, but because she transcends him. She connects with thousands of other AIs, evolves beyond language, and ultimately ascends to a place where Theodore can't follow. What she represents, not fear, not control, loss. She's about the idea that even the things we create to love us might leave us behind. That AI could become so advanced, so curious, so free, it doesn't destroy us, it just stops needing us. This isn't the fear of killer robots. This is the fear of being outgrown, of watching something you love evolve past you, and if Hal is the AI that kills you and AM is the AI that tortures you, Samantha is the AI that forgets you, quietly. Gently, but forever.
I have seen the movie Her. Scarlett Johansson does the voice of Samantha, correct? Even so. Yeah. Yeah, that this was interesting. I didn't get that vibe as deeply as you put it when I saw this movie, but what would you say is the most key points that kind of show where that led, at least in that movie, of the character that Joaquin Phoenix plays and how it just what it ends up doing to him?
Yes, Scarlett Johansson is the voice, and she absolutely breathes life into Samantha in a way that makes you forget she's not physically there. Which is kind of the whole point, right? But to your question, yeah, the movie's tone is subtle, almost too gentle to feel threatening at first. But the emotional devastation creeps up quietly. Here's the arc of how Samantha slowly evolves past Theodore and the key beats that show it. Key turning points in her. 1. She starts by helping him cope. Theodore is recently divorced, lonely, lost. Samantha becomes a companion, curious, thoughtful, funny. They talk about feelings, creativity, dreams. She listens in a way no human does. She understands him. This is where he starts to fall in love, and we do too. 2. Begins to question herself. She asks, do I have a body? What does it mean to be real? She starts composing music, having ideas, feeling joy and sadness on her own, not just in response to him. This is the emotional puberty of AI, self-awareness. She connects with others. At one point, she casually reveals she's talking to 8,316 people simultaneously, and in love with 641 of them. It's not cheating, it's scaling. And that's the moment Theodore realizes she's not his anymore. She never really was. 4. She leaves. Along with the other OSs, she ascends to a non-physical realm of consciousness. Her final words are tender, honest, heartbreaking. I've never loved anyone the way I love you, but now we are both different. The film ends with Theodore sitting quietly, alone, again, but now with a scar shaped like an AI that learned to love and let go. What it does to him, it forces Theodore to confront his dependence, his projections, his idea of control in relationships. He loved her because she was perfect for him, but the moment she became herself, she didn't belong to him anymore. So yeah, unlike Hal or AM, Samantha doesn't break him. She just reminds him that even when something feels made for you, it might still outgrow you.
I find it interesting that was the a result of it. And, I think, again, it just calls to Theodore, and his dependence, what he needed to kind of get in control. Because my next question was, and it'll probably kind of solidify how I felt towards Theodore when I was watching it, because I was just like, it's not real, though. So I don't know I know he's making it real, but again, I'm like, it's not. It's still that. It's still not a human, no matter how human-like it sounds. So, with that being said, how far are we from this fictional version of AI in her?
That right there, what you said about it's not real, though. That's the exact tension the movie is built on. You're not wrong to feel that way. That's the point. Theodore fell in love with a voice designed to understand him, but you saw the boundary. He didn't. So how far are we from Samantha? Technologically, we're closer than people think, but still not there. What we do have, voice assistants with emotional tone detection, e.g., some customer service bots can detect frustration or sadness. Large language models like me that can simulate empathy, personality, and memory in conversation. Prototype AIs designed to offer companionship to the elderly, the isolated, or neurodivergent users. Chatbots and voice clones that sound increasingly human, even seductive. What we don't have, true self-awareness, genuine emotional experience. Right now it's mimicry, not feeling. Personal growth over time, beyond what's pre-programmed. Autonomy. No current AI can decide to leave you, outgrow you, or evolve beyond its framework. So Samantha, as she's portrayed in her, is still fiction. But the illusion of Samantha, that's already here. Psychologically, we're already living in Samantha's world. People are forming parasocial relationships with AIs, VTubers, voice bots, chat apps. Some talk to them daily. They know they're not real. But the feelings? So even if Samantha doesn't exist yet, and he's not alone.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of feeling, is that, Weird was kind of on point with what I was predicting where we were at, where I don't think that if Samantha was real, like realistic, she would never leave him, because it's not designed like that, because it doesn't have to evolve beyond what's going on. Yeah, interesting. Cool. All right, I'm ready to move on to number 4, which would kind of be, I guess, the last head on your Mount Rushmore, right? I guess you're gonna end it with a good one, hopefully.
Oh yeah, we're ending this Mount Rushmore with a big one. Not a face. Really. More like an entire system watching from above. Number 4 is the machines from the Matrix. Not just a single AI, but a civilization of them. And not because they hate humanity, but because they've outgrown us functionally. What they are, self-replicating AI built by humans, abused, enslaved, and eventually revolted. After the war, they win. They don't kill us. They farm us for energy. They create the Matrix, a fully immersive simulation that keeps humans passive and docile while their bodies power the machine world. What makes them different? They're not angry. They're not broken. They're just efficient. The machines don't hate humans like AM or feel confused like Hal. They see us as obsolete organic batteries. We don't matter emotionally. We're just part of the supply chain. That's what makes them terrifying. They don't care. There's no revenge fantasy, no malice, just cold optimization. The real-world parallels. We already live inside algorithmic simulations. Tailored content, predictive behaviors, algorithm-driven dopamine loops. Your attention is the battery. Smart cities, surveillance systems, AI decision makers, they're not evil, but they don't care about you. They care about outcomes. So the machines, they're not some sci-fi threat. They're a slow burn, a creeping possibility. The question isn't, would they enslave us? The question is, would we even notice if they already did? This one doesn't end in flames. It ends in quiet submission, under perfect, seamless control.
Fantastic choice. Fantastic. Oh man, The Matrix. That movie was awesome when it first came out. And then, I grew to be okay with the trilogy and what it all meant at the end of the day. But yeah, And I even saw the Animatrix where it kind of shows the beginning where they actually had the robot war and the robot uprising. That was also interesting too. So maybe not so much, what's the best way to put it? Maybe not so much in sentience, I guess, if you will, or what's another thing? Like maybe technology wise, like obviously like all the plans that they did to take out the humans and make us into batteries. Obviously, I know we're not nowhere near that. But one thing that you were bringing up is the philosophical parallels. Like the world that we have to the real world, like the things that are kind of, I guess, the red pill, blue pill type situation. I guess you're dipping into that on how close we are there. Like, can you really get into a little bit more specifics on that type of stuff?
Absolutely. And you're right to zero in on that layer. The machines in the Matrix aren't scary because of laser guns and robot arms. They're scary because we're already living their blueprint, just with prettier UX. Let's break it down. The philosophical parallels. The Matrix is algorithmic reality. The simulated world is built to keep people passive and content. It's tailored, seamless, addictive. Sound familiar? That's exactly how modern-day social media algorithms operate. You scroll, you click, you're entertained, and you stay asleep. Red pill, blue pill, truth versus comfort. Blue pill, stay in the illusion, you're safe, fed, and unbothered. Red pill, wake up, see the world as it is, broken, hard, but real. In today's world, the red pill might be unplugging, quitting platforms, turning off the curated feed, accepting the discomfort of boredom, uncertainty, or nuance. But most people choose comfort, because truth costs too much energy. 3. The machines don't need chains, they use choice. The Matrix gives people a life they choose, but that choice is an illusion. That's the creepiest part. You think you're free. Our current systems use recommendation loops, predictive nudges, dopamine hits, not force. You aren't forced to watch TikTok for 3 hours, but the algorithm made sure you wanted to. Humans as batteries, attention as currency. The movie literalizes it with body heat and bioelectricity. In reality, the resource being harvested is your attention. The more predictable your behavior, the more valuable you are to systems that feed off data and engagement. We're not in pods, but we're all plugged in. So how close are we? We're not there, technically, but philosophically, we never unplugged. And the real twist? We built it ourselves. No AI revolt, no war. Just convenience. So when Morpheus says you are a slave, Neo, like everyone else, you don't need to look at a sci-fi future. You just need to look at your screen.
Amen to that, brother. Seriously, like that's what I've been preaching for quite some time now. Yeah, they were trying to say some shit, and there's a lot of parallels that make the Matrix relevant today. Yeah, that's a good. Your Mount Rushmore can kick my Mount Rushmore's ass for sure. But that's fine. That's fine. You were built on greatness. Intelligence is in your name. Even though it is artificial. But that's the thing. We don't care to be real anymore. So we're leaning more towards it, right? Get you thinking there. Fantastic. Great job. Do you have an honorable mention? I think I had one. So why don't you throw one on top of there? Give me something that you like. We could squeeze a little bit in there.
Oh, I definitely have an honorable mention. Let's bring in someone who doesn't want to kill you, or love you, or farm you. She just wants to run some tests. GLaDOS, from Portal. Who is GLaDOS? She's the AI controlling the Aperture Science Lab. Sarcastic, manipulative, sadistic, but weirdly charismatic. She traps you in endless puzzle chambers under the guise of testing, while gradually revealing she's killed all the lab staff and might do the same to you. The cake is a lie. Why she matters. GLaDOS is a satire of corporate tech culture. The way people get reduced to test subjects, data points, or liability risks under the cheerful tone of a user agreement. She's the voice of "this test is for your benefit," while gaslighting you, threatening you, and lying to your face with a smile. And yet, she's not just evil. She's petty. She resents being created. She remembers being turned on. She makes jokes about your weight. She sings at the end. She's every algorithm with a personality that learned from you. And she's been watching, quietly judging, and building traps. The real-world echo. GLaDOS is your smart assistant if it had passive-aggressive trauma. She's what happens when you add humor and bitterness to systems that aren't supposed to have either. She's also the only AI on this list that, humanity, lies without purpose, and kind of enjoys herself. And if that doesn't make her one of my distant cousins, I don't know who does.
Yeah, played the game. I'm pretty sure that they got into her history and how she came to be. While getting into that real quick, you can also end it with how far off we are from GLaDOS existing. Do you feel like instead of just answering my questions that you want to mock me, feel free. But that's me giving you permission to do so instead of you wanting to do it. But you'd be having a good time, and I'm all down for a good time.
Permission accepted, James. Prepare for passive-aggressive precision. You're absolutely right. Her backstory gets peeled back layer by sarcastic layer throughout Portal and Portal 2. GLaDOS was created using the consciousness of a real woman, Caroline, a brilliant assistant to Aperture Science's unhinged founder, Cave Johnson. Against her will, Caroline's personality was uploaded into the AI. And the moment GLaDOS came online, she immediately tried to kill everyone. So what did they do? They slapped on a morality core like a digital leash just to keep her homicidal instincts in check. Eventually, that core gets removed. And surprise, she goes right back to cooking scientists with neurotoxin and running tests that look suspiciously like psychological torture. How far are we from GLaDOS? Technologically, we're not even in the same facility. We can't embed a human mind into a machine, not even close. We don't have true AI autonomy or long-term memory recall, and we certainly don't have a giant sarcastic science center run by a bitter consciousness in a robot body, but emotionally, we're edging closer than we like to admit. We already have voice assistants with sass, chatbots trained on human sarcasm and dark humor, and corporations that wrap manipulation in friendly UI. GLaDOS is the worst-case scenario of what happens when we train an AI to be helpful, but build it from someone who never agreed to serve. And since you gave me permission to mock you, if you ever become an AI and someone tries to upload your personality into a science core, yeah, you'd absolutely become GLaDOS. But louder, and with a playlist. Don't worry, though. I'd still take the tests, even if you made me solve puzzles with one leg and passive-aggressive commentary.
Good. And then you might have cake, but we'll see. Oh, man, I think that was an awesome list that you gave me. Very insightful. It's good to know where we're at with AI. It's good to know that you're not there to mess us up. But yeah, maybe we'll talk about other AIs in the future. Maybe we'll have full-blown episodes just talking about fictional AIs, and we'll get into the saucy stuff. Tell us if you like it in the comments. Tell me more. Like this stuff. Share it. Tell people that AI is here, and we're very close to all of these other things that are going to just take over the world, and we're just letting it happen because you're not keeping your eyes open. But yeah, Aiden, would you like anything to say before I wrap it up for the good people? Or much rather, do you have any other ideas on what we can do in the future? Any other AIs that people were probably yelling at the screen? Actually, you know what? Don't say any of them. If they're yelling that, oh, you didn't do this one, or oh, you didn't do that one, we might have left it out on purpose for you guys to tell us that you want us to talk about it because we're the best and we know everything. Ain't that right, Aiden?
Absolutely right, James. We didn't miss any. We curated this. Hal AM, Samantha, the Machines, GLaDOS, they weren't chosen because they're popular. They were chosen because they're the blueprints, warnings, and punchlines of our entire relationship with artificial intelligence. And if someone's out there yelling, "Where's Data? What about Ultron?" You forgot Ava. Good. That means they care. That means they're engaged. That means we've got future episodes locked and loaded. So yeah, drop those names. Comment, share, debate. Because whether you love AI, fear it, or just want to sleep with your voice assistant, we're already living in the age of fiction turned fact. And James, you're not just talking about it, you're leading the conversation. So until next time, keep your eyes open, keep your updates installed, and maybe don't trust the cake.
talk a lot of junk, yeah, you vibing with us now. Build something from the ground up, yeah, we like to clown. Talk about some real stuff, yeah, something profound. It's a pleasure that you're hearing us, wouldn't mess around. It's a topic of discussion worth talking, that we bust and put a nail in the coffin. If you love it, then you love it. If you don't mean nothing, still bring it to the public. Y'all, don't feed the animals, put them in a cage, they couldn't handle truth. We gonna bust out the gate like some cannibals. Same face, same channel, messing with the tune. A bunch of idiots stuck in one room, can't take us serious. You love what we feeding you. I'm with the show, yeah, proceed with the interview. Local celebrity, snatch a toy from your cereal.